This is Overtime, a live series brought to you by Lynx and War Room Media, where we talk about basically anything we want. And here are your hosts, Greg Williams and Ryan Ray. And that's another week behind us.
There it is.
It is, man. Another week.
Hold on. You're looking smart. Let me.
Yeah.
There we go. Now you both look smart.
Not sporting a ball cap here. I'm trying to grow some hair back, man.
Yeah, I see that.
This,
I got
this oil and gas business is making me pull my hair out. But we are back for another week. Ryan, we surpassed. I know this is not a big number for a lot of people out there, but I'm pretty proud of it. We so Overtime broke 500 downloads this week. Awesome. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm totally stoked about that. That's at least there's somebody out there you got auto download on or something helping us out. So
we'll take it.
Y'all, anybody out there, y'all jump in there and leave us some comments and do some tell us what we like, what we don't like. You can have a go at me and Ryan, and we'll talk about your comments on live air and get some feedback. So jump in there.
No, we did that. That's great.
We also, a little bit about our sponsors for the show here. That's Lit Handlers. They are a small family-owned merchandise company based in Texas. So everyone get in there and download the Lynx application. If you don't know what that is, hang around on the show for about 2.3 more seconds and I'll tell you. But it is a social networking application for the oil and gas industry. But you can go download it, Google Play, App Store. Anywhere that you get your apps from. So we don't have one for Microsoft, but if you have a Microsoft device and you're still carrying Microsoft gear around, then hey, maybe there's a Chinese version of Lynx. Anyway, so go visit Lit Handlers, get your 15% off today once you download the app, and you can visit www.lithandlers.com and use the discount code that is sent by email with your email verification once you register with us. So, Ryan, let's get the overtime rundown up there.
Let's do it.
Might want to look at these koozies real quick, too.
Oh, yeah, those are nice.
I know, man. They're wild. They're far out. Digging it. Let's see here. Make sure I don't call you Greg. Get the sponsors up there. That'd be better. Lit Handlers, absolutely. So, do not disturb on that. Yeah, so there's our sponsors, Lit Handler. So all of their gear, Ryan, is for people that didn't know, all of that's patented. So so they've actually gone to patent court there, got all their gear, and they've actually taken some duplicate products off the market or replicas off the market already.
Wow.
Yeah, so they went to bat for their gear here, keeping their Yetis from being naked. So it's good on them.
Very nice. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. All right, here's our rundown. So as always, we'll talk about those ominous oil prices. We had 23,000 oil and gas jobs added back in March. A little bit of consolidation in the Shale, which has been happening for over a year now. But some on the international rig activity. Major League Baseball All-Star game leaves Atlanta. I'm sure Ryan will enjoy talking about this one. And for those of you that don't know out there, Lego theft seems to be on the rise. So we Lego theft. Whoever knew that was a thing? But if you can make money off of it, it can be stolen, I'm sure.
Listen, if you can't make money off of it, it'll be stolen. So
well, let's just jump right on in there.
Let's go.
What about those oil prices, Ryan? That is for the crude. Let's see, that's the WTI. That's $59.26. And for the Brent, come on, wait.
Brent's at $62.74.
Is it?
Yeah.
$59.26. Am I wrong here? Oh, wait.
WTI is at 59, Brent's at 62.
There we go. 59 to 62. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Got any thoughts, predictions? Nothing for this week?
I mean, I think the Saudis said that the Saudis and OPEC said that they're going to put on basically 2 million barrels between now and July. So they're
Which isn't a whole lot.
No, it's not a whole lot, but it is.
Perspective.
Well, it's not a lot. That's true, but it also means that they now think that demand is going to go back up, and so to offset that, they're going to start slowly ramping up production, or at least putting barrels back on the market, to kind of meet that. So, of course, if you look at the primary vision frac spread count, it looks like U.S. production is going to go up as well. So the question I think we're at now is, by the time we get to July, where will we be with COVID globally? Will there be lockdowns? Will people be open? How will demand be? And then how does that work out with this increased Saudi OPEC production that's coming on the market? It's mainly, I think it's other OPEC members, not necessarily Saudis, but regardless, as we get there. So I don't know. I mean, I really think the OPEC and Saudis have really played this thing quite well, because prices have not gone crazy. They're 55 to 65, which works out well for them. And it feels like prices are in a little bit more of a reality check right now.
Yes. Where this time, 4 or 5 months ago, we were all talking about hyperinflation. So this looks like a more level playing field here.
Well, but then if you look at this is this morning over here in the U.S. at least, workers filing for jobless claims rose to 744,000 last week, pausing a downward trend amid other signs of recent labor market improvement. Initial claims for unemployment benefits, a proxy for layoffs, increased seasonally adjusted 16,000 last week, revised to 728,000 the prior week. So despite the increase, claims rose. Despite the increase, claims remain close to the lowest point since mid-March of last year, where the pandemic began. So, I think that the experts are still trying to tell us, hey, things are coming back. And every time they say that, there's something that kind of goes, okay, well, it's not back yet. And we're just not back yet, Greg. We're not going to be back yet for some period of time. And so, you got to think about all the PPP money that was given out last year.
Yeah.
Most of that was gone by the end of last year, which put people from going out of business into this year. Okay. Well, the ones who didn't, that's if you wanted to be forgiven. Well, and I know they changed the rules, so you might have could extend it into this year. I don't know, but last I heard, you had to use it by the end of last year. So that means that, if you ran off PPP money and you push anything out, well, some of those people are going to lose their jobs this year, right? Because this is not coming back around. Other people who didn't want to be forgiven, they're taking it as a loan. They're still kind of trying to wean off that money now. So I think we're still a little bit out before we really understand who's going to be employed, who's not employed. And there's companies that probably made it through last year on their reserves that still aren't out. So the job market in the U.S., I think, is still going to be shaky for some time. And, oh, by the way, the CDC extended the moratorium on rental evictions. Did you see that?
Did not see that.
Yeah, so they extended the moratorium on rental evictions until the end of June. And according to the report, 20% of renters couldn't pay the rent. I suspect it's much higher, but 20% couldn't pay the rent, which means that either they're not paying because they don't have to because there's no threat of eviction, or they can't pay it. We don't know. But the Biden administration is trying to keep what's going on with the economy, just like the Trump administration did, by putting this moratorium on evictions. When you have that, you really don't know what's going on because people can't get evicted, right? So you're having landlords. So I think we're still a long way to go to figure out what the economy.
What else are you using? I mean, yeah, you can use the rent money on something else, but it's not like your landlord is like not still having to pay a note on the place for most parts and upkeep. So they didn't put a moratorium on upkeep.
Well, and so that's one thing they talked about, how you can, if you're a landlord, you can get rental assistance from the government. And so I think if you get that, though, it counts as the renter paying insurance. So it means that, so if I'm correct on that, that means the 20% is much higher, right? Because people are getting the insurance or the stimulus from the government, and they're not counting that as a renter not paying. So it's higher than 20%. Oh, by the way, in some parts of the country, you have to get the renter to sign with the landlord to agree to turn the form in so the landlord can get the rental assistance. So like it's a whole quagmire. It's a whole
But the landlord doesn't have to sign for the renter not to be okay. Yeah. So the moratorium's automatic.
yeah,
Renter doesn't have to do anything, but the landlord in some places has to sign the document with the renter.
With the renter just to get the relief that the government's preventing him from collecting.
Is this in the United States? Which country?
It was well, it's the Soviet part of the United States. So
well.
I'm aggressive today, Greg.
I know, man. I know. These numbers that you're slinging, man, are just. Hey, but we still have a good part of the show to go, so I'm just getting you fueled up for those Lego theft stories. So.
Well, listen, the AllStar game. Just let me tell you something. Grip it and rip it, son. That's coming.
Yep. So we'll take that long drive down that dark dirt road when we get there. So.
What do you think about prices, Greg? What do you think?
Well, I think one of the world's largest economies is starting to shut down again. We're starting to lock down again. So India has announced, a couple of new runs of lockdowns, and so they're more along the line of non-essentials. So it was basically kind of like 2 to 3 months into the original lockdowns, kind of the way it is. But I mean, that's unless you're an essential person, part of the system, government / healthcare workers, blah, 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 taking care of the elderly, yada, yada, hospice, you can be on the road. So there's should be no one out. But of course, that's not going to stop them importing. That's for sure. They'll keep right on importing. So I don't see that doing a whole lot in the short term. These lockdowns are not like a month. They're 2-3 weeks max. I mean, that's not gonna do a whole lot to you. But yeah, I think we're closer to being right than we have been in months. So.
Well, the thing about it is that I know what you mean when you say 2 to 3 weeks isn't the end of the world, and you're right. But for some people, that's the difference between their business being open and going out of business. And so the more we.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. That's one. I mean, that's a note. So yeah, it is. Yeah, right.
And so I know you're not making light of it. I'm just saying that I think that sometimes we kind of forget. Well, in the global, we're talking oil prices, the global economy. Okay, 2 or 3 weeks, not the end of the world, but for those small business owners or those people living paycheck to paycheck, that could be a big deal. So hopefully things get back open and going again.
I agree. It's obviously it's more regional specific in some places. In some parts of the world, the government actually gives the people of the country part of the royalties each month that come from anything that has come from the earth that they have dug out. Take Brunei, for example. You don't see stuff like this happening in Brunei with the Sultan. You don't see this kind of stuff happening. You don't see people going out of business. You don't see this kind of stuff. You don't see homeless people. You don't see this kind of stuff, needing food, everything else. It just doesn't happen. So, I mean, it's regional specific for sure, but you're just not going to also just walk on up into Brunei either. So, yeah. You want to go to Brunei one day? Right? It's pretty nice, actually.
I'll go anywhere. I want to go. You know where I want to go?
Yeah,
I want to go to North Korea.
Do you?
Have you ever been?
John? No, I closest I've been South Korea, but no. But I was there whenever there was a few threats coming from North Korea, and it was everyone else kind of packed up and headed out, and the company we were working with at the time was more than happy to hang around. The guy that was managing all the business that was going in, he says, like, they do this stuff all the time. Everybody else is leaving. We're good. But by the way, here's a cell phone and credit card, black credit card, if you need to get out of here.
By the way, just to be safe.
But no, it was South Korea is actually quite nice.
Yeah,
nice,
I would
nice
love
place.
to go to North Korea. I like going to places that people don't go. Now, there's some places like
I think you might get challenged a little bit with North Korea and some of the thoughts that you may have there, Ryan. I'm not sure.
I'm not going to debate.
You and
to debate. I'm just going to visit.
Kim may have a hot tank with a mortar with your name on the end of it aimed at you in the courtyard.
So I would suspect, and I don't know this to be true. So if you take like North Korea or Venezuela, I would rather go to North Korea right now than Venezuela. I suspect Venezuela is a lot more anarchy going on because of the lack of the stability of the regime. And so if you go to Venezuela, you'd face more potential personal harm. If I go to North Korea, as long as I follow the rules, I suspect I would be okay. I suspect. I don't know. I'm not trying to make the North Koreans nice people. They're the worst government in the world. But it usually seems like their government targets the Americans that go and try to push back. I just want to go look. I just want to go look, take a few pictures, and leave. I don't want to go. I'm not going to start a problem.
But if you go down there working for ExxonMobil, you may just end up in jail anyway. So I mean, it's either place right now. I wouldn't choose either place. I mean, I know quite a few people in Venezuela and quite a few people in South Korea, and I would not want to. South Korea, yeah, North Korea, no. But hey, man, maybe Seth Rogen will make a new movie and invite you along.
Well, that's true. I mean, how many people do you know who've been to North Korea?
Nobody that I know.
I know of one person. I don't know him though. So I follow his work, but I don't know him personally. So that's the only person.
Is he still there? Has he come back?
Oh yeah, he's back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
He wrote a book, all that kind of stuff. And so, but yeah, I mean, so
Dennis Rodman. You know Dennis Rodman?
No. I'd say that. Well, okay, Rodman makes two people I know. I guess Trump is three, right? So you got Trump, Dennis Rodman, and then Michael Malice is the commentator I follow. He didn't talk about it anymore, but he used to talk about him pretty regularly, and he went over there and wrote a book. So, anyways, but
yeah, from what I understand, if you follow the rules, you're all right. But yeah, don't have a crossword.
No. I will not be preaching the message of liberty over there. I will just be. No, we good.
Don't touch the flag, nothing like that. So,
nope.
All right. Talk about this job rise. I know we talked about the unemployment rate, but we'll talk a little bit about the 23,000 jobs that's added back for the U.S. oilfield service companies, Ryan. According to the Bureau of Labor Stats and Energy Workforce and Tech Council, they put 23,000 people back to work in March. So the top 5 states, which will be no surprise of anybody that kind of follows what we do, but Texas, 39,000, Louisiana, 6,700, Oklahoma, 6,100, Colorado, 3,200, New Mexico, 3,000. Of course, we know that the numbers didn't lie for what went away during COVID. So that all tallied up to about 120,000. So it's good to see some of that coming back. But Ryan, they're saying that, they're saying, we said the same thing last week to them, which they're saying it again this week, but more rigs back online, more people vaccinated, and demand was rising. But how long do you think that'll last?
I don't know. I mean, summer driving is coming, and I don't think it feels like, Greg, I'm curious your read on this. It feels like the U.S. is just going to reopen at this point. And I say that with some hesitancy because over the last year we've seen all that's happened, but it just feels like the U.S. is heading towards a full reopen, whatever that means. Not 2019 reopen. I don't know if we're going to get there, but it feels like we are just pushing towards summertime vacation, travel.
We are. I agree.
And so that's gonna push up demand, which is good for oil field jobs and stuff. And so the question, as it is now, as it was in January, is will the US producers come out and over drill, right? So with the monthly OPEC guidance that we have, maybe not. But we'll be sitting here in June and July going, man, the numbers for demand are good, but everyone hedged out and prices are in 40s because we drilled too much. And so that's still my concern.
I'm with Vincent here. I'm banking on some successful watermelon seasons as well. I like watermelon, so
Love the watermelon.
hey, I'm from the Piney Woods in Louisiana, and I'm all over a watermelon. So,
Love the watermelon.
all right. Last week's announcement with talking about a little bit about shale consolidations here. Ryan, most companies are being acquired there in the shale these days. Of course, nothing new, but as most know, they've been keeping up with the companies in the Permian Basin. This little bit of news last week, but the team over at Double Point has been bought up by Pioneer for $6.4 billion, which was quite a large amount of money. But also, anyone else that's familiar with Double Point know they were some of the kind of early crowd back in the years before the shale boom really kicked off. But the deal was comprised of 27.2 million shares of Pioneer common stock, $1 billion of cash, and assumption of $900 million of debt and liabilities. So that's partially back in October. Now Double Point. So Pioneer is setting themselves up to be a force in the Permian or a long road to bankruptcy, one of the two. Thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, I know Blackman, Dave Ramsey Wood both like this deal, and maybe they're right. I don't really have a comment on the particulars of the acreage. My comment is Scott Sheffield, I think if you followed his public statements, he's generally someone who has positioned himself
pretty well in line.
Pretty well, but he also has, how do I say this? He talks like you would expect the CEO of Exxon or Chevron talks. And so what I mean by that is last year when they talked about pro-rationing, he was in favor of that. Oh, by the way, they didn't cut production. So keep that in mind. So he was wanting the Railroad Commission to enforce it, but he didn't ever actually cut himself. And he's also the one who said, if I remember correctly, that investors should leave companies who don't have a way to mitigate their failure. Now, when their stock dropped a few years back because they're behind the drilling schedule, I don't remember him saying, this, shareholders should leave for that. It seemed like he wanted a little grace there. So I think he is very much wants to make the playing field in Pioneer's favor. And so for me, it feels like they are trying to acquire that status to then lean on legislators to make the rules in their favor. And so based upon his other comments. So it could be a good move for investors. It could be a good move for shareholders. I don't know. But my general read of what Pioneer is doing is they're trying to make it to where they can cut out the small guy. And that's basically
looking for that red carpet.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think I'm assuming, of course, I didn't see anything about that. I saw, I think it was a post on LinkedIn, was it from Cody, the co-CEO there, that said that, they were going to be working together to continue the good work with Double Point. So I'm not sure who stays and who goes at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
It may be both CEOs, a co-Double Point, double CEOs. So I don't know who stays and who goes. All right. Something we don't typically talk about, which is the international rig count, much here on Overtime. But I was going to talk a little bit about it today. But I share with the listeners this week about how it's looking over the last few months. Since November of last year until the first week of April, we have put 59 rigs back to work. So the largest moving region is Latin America. Of course, we talked about it last week, some of the other hotspots, Guyana, Brazil, Mexico, but they have added 24 rigs since November. The Middle East comes in second with 22 rigs, followed by Asia, which added on 6, and the other 7 are kind of scattered out amongst Africa and Europe, so not much of an increase in either of those regions, to be honest, up and down a bit, but still a very regionally focused market. So, just so that everyone knows out there, we are adding rigs, but again, depends on which region you're in. Region. So, any thoughts on this from your side, Ron? Probably more my field anyway.
Yeah, it's probably more your field than mine. I mean,
I think as some people and some of the trade agreements and things start changing in most places, I think it's forcing people to make decisions. Where they get their gear, where they get their work, who comes into the country, who gets contracts. The landscape's going to be changing drastically over the next couple of years. And unfortunately, there may be no turning back for some of these places. You may end up having a tanker sitting somewhere that you can't sell anything.
Right.
That's what it's going to look like. It's all going to be where you at, what part of the world you're living in. Where are you going to take that cruise ship today? Okay. Are you ready for this, Ryan?
No, I'm not.
Moving out of the market news, we're going to move over here to sports just for a moment. But Major League Baseball pulls up the bases in Atlanta, moves the AllStar game to Coors Field. So, Ryan, although this is sports, but it's also highly political. But Major League Baseball plans to relocate the AllStar game to Coors Field in Denver after pulling this year's Midsummer Classic from Atlanta over objections to sweeping changes to Georgia's voting laws. Now, before we get going into this, we have to have IDs for everything. You even have to have ID in some places to use Bitcoin for purchases or even to buy crypto. Now, we're aware of other things that we need our IDs for, and things that are not nearly as complicated as Bitcoin. But here's a case in Georgia where the people are going to need IDs to vote. So among other rules that came out with the announcement. So I might get us in trouble here on this one, but I will let you take the floor. Go for it. Try to keep us on LinkedIn Live. That's all I ask.
I love MLB. This was a great decision.
No. Tell me. We want to know your honest opinion here. It's great. So go.
Greg. So here is, and I don't know how much longer this narrative can go on. You have companies. So first off, I don't have a problem with you doing business with whomever you want.
Right.
If you want to do business North Korea, I don't have a problem with it. You know, do business in Iran, I don't have a problem with it. Just because that's not my angle. Just so we're clear. But if you're doing business with Kim Jong-un, don't lecture me about some policy over here. If you're doing business with China, don't lecture me about some policy over here. I can't take it, Greg. I just can't take it. I can't take it. If you don't want to say anything about what's going on in China, then don't say anything about what's going on here. If you don't say anything, if you want to talk about here, then talk about China. If you want to kind of ride the fence in both, ride the fence in both. But this virtue signaling has got to stop. It's got to stop. Because at the end of the day, y'all don't care. Y'all, look right here. Y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. And you know how I know you don't care? Go look at how you cover your scandals in your own sports. Go look at how you cover when you're in trouble, when your industry's in trouble. How do you cover it? And this is from MLB to the reporters. Let me tell you something, Greg. I can't stand sports reporters because they walk around and act like these athletes are the great humanitarians of the world.
That's what they get paid to do, though, man.
Okay. You know how many times these athletes, and I'm not making moral judgments, I'm just simply pointing out the fact. These athletes go out and have children by not one, but two, but three, but four different women. We hadn't talked about Deshaun Watson in a while.
I seen a blip across the radar this morning. I don't want to.
But I'm saying, but we walk around, and I don't know any of these athletes, and nor do I care. And you know what? When my son says, "Hey, Dad, is that athlete a good guy?" You know, I say, "I don't know," because I don't know. And oh, by the way, when you find out about a lot of these guys, it's usually not that great.
No.
Reporters know this? Yes, they do. They're around these guys all the time. They're just as bad. So MLB come out and lecture me about virtues and dignity and pride. Go screw yourselves. Because I don't know what you guys think, and neither do you. Where your headquarters in New York City, right? I'm pretty sure New York City's been pretty strict on the COVID stuff, taking away people's rights. They didn't care about that, though, do they, Greg?
No, I don't think so.
Coca-Cola and Delta, they both do business with China. That's pretty bad on voter rights and stuff like that, right?
Maybe something to do with suppression and human rights.
And so I'm not mad if you do business with China. I'm on a U.S.-China relations board, so I'm not mad about it. I'm saying don't come at me with your hypocrisy. Don't come at me saying, well, we're going to move it. Oh, by the way, let's just one more thing. You are arguing, Greg, you're arguing that the minority population in the U.S., which would be African Americans or Latinos, and not the non-whites, are going to be disproportionately impacted by this bill in Georgia. So we're going to move it from Atlanta, which is
there's only 9% white people in Atlanta.
Huh? Yeah.
There's only 9% of white people in Atlanta.
It's disproportionately a minority city compared to.
I lived there for a year. I loved Atlanta. It was great.
No, I don't care about that. I'm saying, but if you put Denver and you put Atlanta side by side, they're not the same, right?
No. The demographics are no.
So how is that not? How is that not elitism? How is that not all these things that you say that it is?
We push back so much on both sides of the table, and they want to talk about people whitewashing things, and that's pretty whitewashed there. Not gonna lie.
Denver, I don't know. I've heard this. I haven't confirmed it. I believe Colorado's voting laws are tougher than Georgia's, anyways.
Right? I heard that today. I heard the same thing today. I also saw a few posts running around about it, but I think they went so they could smoke weed, man. I think that's why they went.
One final thing for me.
I don't think it had nothing to do with the vote.
Is that Joe Biden called this? He said this makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. If Donald Trump had made that comparison to anything in his presidency, the media would have lost their ever-loving mind. I didn't vote for Trump, so we're clear. I didn't vote for Biden, just so everyone knows. In case you knew, I didn't vote for any of them guys. I'm just saying, if Trump were to say anything that anything in 2020 or 2019 or whatever made Jim Crow look bad, they would have called him the worst in the world. But your boy, Joe Biden can say it looks like Jim Eagle, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah." Listen, don't make. Yeah, that's what we're trying to say, Vincent. If we weren't clear,
no, definitely Denver is. Yes, Denver is way more white. One reason is because it's cold, but it's just not. What happened here is the exact opposite of anything that people talk about today. You're right. It's straight up elitism. Yeah.
So anyways, so Joe Biden can come out and say that makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. It's like, Joe, have you read a history book ever? Come on, Joe. Come on. And so we've gotten to the point now.
Not even in the same world, man.
Can we get to the point now to where we just have to fall over with, oh, it's the worst. Again, I will go back to where I started this at. I don't care if you want to do business with North Korea. I really don't care. I don't have a problem with that at all. In fact, we're not getting all the trade policy, but I think that's
your terms.
It's your whatever you want. That's right. What I do have a problem is if you're over there doing business in North Korea and you're working with the government, and then you come back to the U.S., you're like, oh, well, the U.S. is terrible. Oh my gracious! And you're like, what about North Korea? Like, I'm not talking about North Korea. Like, I'm not gonna talk about that at all. It's like, well, don't come lecture me about here. We've got problems, but we're not North freaking Korea, and so that's that's
okay. That's okay. Here on Overtime, we respect everybody's opinion, wrong or right. It doesn't matter. We respect it. We're good.
Yeah, we put the wrong ones down on the show so y'all can take the opposite and get the right one.
No, it's a labor of love, and we appreciate the opinions.
Absolutely.
But basically, at the end of the day, is what we're saying is that, for the amount of people that we're going to be watching face-to-face the AllStar game, which is probably not going to be near the people that would 2 years ago, that, only a small percentage of that crowd would have been white people. the rest of the crowd would have been African Americans.
But
So just because that's
also,
the demographics of the state,
and it's
you
not
know, or
even
the
just,
city.
it's not even
So
just who's in the stadium, Greg. It's all around the stadium. The hotels, the
no,
restaurants,
everything's
cars.
yeah, no, everything's there's black owned businesses. There's,
Right.
I mean, the whole city council at one point, you know, were all were black council members. So I mean, you know, and I lived there for a year, and I mean, I felt like that, you know, the place I was living in, which was slightly outside of town in Marietta, you know, about 8, 9 miles out, 10 miles, but I had never seen, you know, that many nationalities in one place at one time. You know, you had everybody. You had everybody was there. You had Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. You had just about anybody from any part of the United States was there. You had Mexicans. You had everybody was in just about within 1 or 2 blocks from each other in Marietta. So I mean, it was just
Mhm.
like this huge blending pot there, and you didn't hear trouble happening in the streets there. People took care of their business, but I mean, further into town, a little bit different. But I mean, we are talking about I was there during the Olympics as well, so a different world. You know, it brought in a lot of different things in. But
Whoa,
again,
whoa, whoa, whoa! You were there during the Olympics.
I was there during the Olympics, man. I was there in 1996. Yep, yeah.
I did not know that
So
about you.
yeah. We were I was doing some work for a it was a cable company at the time, so cable television for people that still know what cable television is. And we had, I think it was 12 large complexes there, and we did service work throughout all of these different complexes, basically on the substations and the setups and the head ends with the satellites. So, yeah, and was there through the whole thing, and I still haven't watched that movie. I just haven't yet. I
Which
was
one?
actually in a
Where they went the wrong guy?
yeah, I was actually in a van about 6 blocks away when that bomb went off. I was in traffic
Wow.
trying. I was in traffic, and we were trying to get to the Centennial Stadium that night, and there was just no
Wow.
way to get down there. It was just all the roads were blocked off, and traffic was backed up. And then the person that was with me needed to have a restroom break, and there was just nowhere to go. So we jumped right back out and got on 285 South and headed out to the other side of town. And then we heard on the radio, boom, there was an explosion. So
Wow.
yeah. So we were detoured there by us somehow. So I don't know if it was the lack of being able to hold in the bathroom, needed traffic, or what it was. But yeah, anyway, so I, you know, uh, basically at the time, which I still do. I mean, loved Atlanta. I was a huge Braves fan. Met Bobby Cox and Javi Lopez and Andrew Jones and all those guys back in the day. I mean, Chipper and the guys. I mean, they were coming around town just about everywhere at every sports memorabilia place, everywhere signing stuff. So it was great to now at the time. It was Bobby Cox was, I think, on his third marriage, and I think it was his fourth DWI. So he was having a day. He couldn't drive himself to some of these events. So it was it was a bit comical, but again, it was good to meet all those guys face to face. I mean, that was Andrew's rookie year,
So you know what's
'96.
weird about Atlanta for me is that I've been to Atlanta a ton, but I've never been to Atlanta because I just fly in to the
Yeah.
airport and go somewhere else. So like I've flown into, when I lived in Louisiana, I'd go to what is it, Jackson or whatever it's called, the airport there, and I'd connect from there. But I've never actually left the airport. So I don't know if I've actually technically been to Atlanta or not because the airport's like international space, right? So have I been to
I
Atlanta?
would say I would tell anybody that got a chance to go over around that part of the world to go take a visit. It's worth it. You got Stone Mountain, you got Kennesaw, you got Atlanta, the stuff going on down there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good. I mean, obviously, if you got a brand that you don't like, say, for example, Coca-Cola. I mean, that's its home base. So, I mean,
I'm a
yeah.
Coca-Cola shareholder.
Do what?
I'm a Coca-Cola shareholder.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So I just think that
Sorry.
I think that they're just cowards, like most people in life.
Well,
But it's just weird. I've been to Atlanta, flown through
Because I don't think it pays. I don't think it pays these days to be a CEO and put your neck on the line. I don't think. I don't think there's many CEOs out there that'll throw it on the line like that. But
that's awesome.
Everybody's going to get in line with the virtue signal. It's just the way it is with big corps these days. They have to. Their people will picket. Their people will quit. They'll have nobody work. They'll get sued. It's just brutal, man.
It is brutal.
I'm going to move over here and talk about people stealing Legos. It seems like a more
Leave the kids'
fun thing to talk about.
Greg. Leave them alone, man.
Just as a reminder for anybody that's just joining us, if anybody's still there and we didn't bore them to death with this conversation about Major League Baseball, but anybody that's still there, we're sponsored by Lit Handlers. They're a small family-owned merchandising company based in Texas. So you can get your discount code by downloading the Lynx application, and it'll be sent to you in a email verification once you register. And then you can get 15% off these bad boys. So get in there, get the app downloaded, get the code, go get something to cover up your naked Yeti. Yeah. So, Ryan, we all had Legos when we were kids, so.
I've got 4 kids, and we still got Legos around the house, so yeah.
And we've all, as grown-ups, stepped on Legos. But looks like some people are taking this all too serious. So, French police have been investigating an internal ring of toy thieves with a particular affinity for the colorful interlocking blocks, bricks. And it's not just in Europe. Lego robberies have happened in the United States as well. Last month, a man in Oregon, check this one out. Man in Oregon was arrested after local police suspected he stole $7,500 worth of Lego toy sets.
Jeez.
So there might even be a whole black market for the bricks. Lego specialist Gerben van Winken. Ryan, I don't know which one is stranger, that we have a Lego theft ring or that there's an actual Lego specialist position. Ryan,
yeah, I want that job.
Do you still have Legos?
I want that job. Like, how do you get that? Lego specialist? Do you build really fast, or I don't know.
I think it has something to do with toy collectibles. But when they put the Lego specialist in there, I couldn't help myself. It's just did he build them real fast? Did he watch other people? Did he time people? Did he have like a little clock? Did he hit? Did he time them or what?
Uh-oh. You knocked the mic up or something, Greg.
I did.
Okay. There we go. We're back.
We're good.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, what makes you a Lego specialist? It would seem that everyone could be a Lego specialist pretty quickly.
It doesn't seem like it takes much training, does it?
I wouldn't think so. Unless you're like the one, like you're designing like the mold and then like taking the now they
that's on a whole nother scale there. You're talking about mass production.
Lego architect, right?
Yeah, you could be, but if you went into like mass creating Legos, wouldn't the toy theft of Legos go down?
Yeah, I don't know. It has to be like collector's editions or something that they're
certainly 13 sets worth $7,500. Those are not your bag full of Legos. It's just no. There's there's a couple of photos here. It looked like there was some. Yeah, here they are. Yeah, so those are looks like ninjutsu sets or something like that. Yeah. So anyway, those are the ones that were stolen that was worth $7,500. So I don't know. But that's definitely Star Wars here. Certainly.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, those are stormtroopers there. All the way. People don't take stuff that doesn't belong to you.
That's exactly.
It's real easy. It's if you didn't buy it, someone didn't give it to you. And by the way, if someone gave you something, they actually can come take it back. So the best way to do it is to get it on your own.
That's right.
So that's kind of the rule of thumb. So if somebody comes get something that they say that they gave it to you, that's they still have rights to it. So still have dibs on it. Still have dibs.
That's right.
Well, that's another week there, Ryan. Another
That's
week of stuff, another show. By the way, you guys jump out there and go check out Ryan's on the War Room Media. He puts out some good stuff each week. You can go in there and get you a membership here. If you're watching the screen, you can get it for $8 a month or annually $80 a year, and you can even be a founding member for $255.
Oh, we're giving it away. Giving it away.
And if you come in there, that's warroommedia.substack.com/riglings, and you can come straight to this page right here, and you can get 20% off.
There you go. Use the code.
So, Ryan has some really good people inside the War Room. He has a lot of good points about things. These worldwide things, stuff that you don't typically think about whenever you're sitting on the front porch having a cup of coffee. But if you're a scroller and you don't want to be on social media, that this is some more crap you can scroll through. So it's all right. It's all right.
There you go.
I am a subscriber just simply because I like to read it. Nothing else, Ryan.
And we appreciate it, Greg. We really do.
Always,
we need more. Always need more.
So again, Ryan and I'd like to thank our sponsors, Lit Handler. That's 15% off their gear. So you guys go check them out. This is going to be Ryan and us done for this week. But I'm Greg with Riglings, and I didn't say I'm Ryan with Riglings, but I am Greg with Riglings, and that's Ryan with War Room Media. And thanks for joining us for another edition of Overtime. So,
thank you, guys. Be back next week.
Absolutely. That's a wrap. You've been watching Overtime, a live series brought to you by Riglings and War Room Media. Your hosts have been Greg Williams and Ryan Ray. For sponsorship opportunities, send us an email at info@riglings.com. Tune in next Thursday at 10 a.m. CST for another live episode.